Hi everyone, welcome to the video. This is a bit of a late night one. I'm in a bit of a conundrum here, so I hope that you can give me your thoughts and feedback. Anyway, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button as usual, and I'll get on straight with it. Well, as you see before your very eyes here on my bed is a Hornby Fowler 4F, and this piece of crap here is the motor that for some reason has burnt out or is just very, very irregular. It does not work. I've tried it and tried it and tried it. I stripped it out today. I tried lubing it, I tried cleaning it, everything, and the thing just wouldn't work. And it's a heap of crap basically. It's no good. So I think Peter Spares do the replacements of these motors, and I'm thinking about maybe getting one. But in the meantime, the conundrum is, in the description box below this video, I'll put a link to the original video I did many years ago. Seems like forever now, but I did a conversion on an Airfix brand 4F, which was part of the Hornby colliery set. And what I didn't like about that loco, for many reasons, was Hornby had the audacity to use the old Airfix moulding, and exactly the same what they've done here. There's nothing much different to the old Airfix moulding of this particular locomotive, which is a shame. It's a nice looking loco, but what they've done is use the original moulding for the body, and all they've done is added an upgrade motor and pickups in the loco and the tender to improve the performance, which it did. Initially this model came with the centre stupidly ridiculous rubber traction tyre in the middle, which I hastily cut off for the knife, and it improved things vastly, and you didn't even need it, didn't even slip once. But for some reason recently today I put it out on the layout and it just was stuttering and stalling. The first thing I did was obviously check the wheels to make sure they were clean. There was no back-to-back issues. I cleaned the wipers, lubed it up, checked everything electrically, made sure there was no gunk or anything that shouldn't be there, and why it wouldn't work. And for some reason it just was very hesitant, and then it was causing shorts on my transformer. It was actually cutting out and tripping out on the track 2 side of things, and I thought, oh, so obviously I tried something else on there, no problem. No, it was the loco. So I stripped it down, put it back together about 4 or 5 times, still couldn't fathom it out. So then I stripped the loco down and took the motor out separately, as you see here, and tested it as a standalone item electrically. And for some reason I could feel and hear the motor wanting to turn, but it was very stiff. So I added a little bit of lubrication oil on the end bearing on the end there, and just a tad on the end of that flywheel, in the inner side of the flywheel. It was turning okay with my finger like that, but I could also hear and feel something was bumping around inside it. It didn't feel very smooth, and again when I powered it up it just didn't want to fire up, and then it did, and I put it back in the loco and it didn't work. Took it out, it didn't work, and finally it just cut out altogether. So I'm either going to get one of these replacement motors, which I think all it's got on there is somewhere, there's a reference number there, 150801. I think these are the X6699, I could be wrong. They're the motors that Peter Spare does to fit the Hornby T9s, I think, and this is the motor I think that may fit it. I don't know. But anyway, before I get around to all that and actually thinking about making the commitment to actually getting a new one of these, just make sure it will be an identical fit, the conundrum I've got is the following, and I want you to maybe give me some comments on this, because I'm thinking about actually sort of swallowing my pride, if you like, and just stripping down the old Airfix model, which is in the colliery set, which has got the brand new die-cast chassis and the nice motor that I got from Peter Spares as a chassis kit, and just basically taking that out and putting it in this, because this has got tender pickups in the tender with wipers and wires that go to the motor that's already there. So it might be just a case of chopping it over. But if it's got a die-cast chassis and this thing is plastic, then the die-cast is going all the way, and it will fit. So I'm thinking about basically creating one good 4F, possibly out of the two 4Fs that I've got. This one not being operational now, and the other 4F that I've got in my Hornby colliery set, which is the old Airfix original loco, which is just basically loco drive, but as in loco drive, there's no tender pickups in it. It's just pulling a dummy tender. The tender does nothing, whereas this actually is fitted with the proper tender pickups, and it's got obviously the metal wheels, brass wheels that are electrically conductive and all wired up with the pickup. So it would make sense probably to cannibalise that really nice smooth chassis in the crappy old Airfix model that I've put in, and put it back into something like this where it really belongs, and then probably chuck in or keep in the other one, the spares, and having the colliery set with the super duper 4F in that works properly and all nicely. So that might be the option. The other option is to get one of these motors. I think these are about 15 quid, I think, about 20 quid, I think Peter Spares wants, including postage. I've got to make sure that that's the right motor though, in terms of length, because the one that I saw looks exactly like this, but it doesn't have the flywheel on there. It just has one brass worm gear without the flywheel. This one has a flywheel. So for some reason, I don't know why, but what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to have, if I can, a little look in. I'll try and take the end off that and find out what the hell is going on with this, because it feels clunky, like something in there. And what I'm suspecting is, guys, is that see what I hate about these are nice motors. They're made in China. They are very smooth, nice motors. But the problem that we have, or that you can have with these sort of things, is that everything is internal. There's nothing to change or replace or maintain. If you remember the old XO4 motors that I grew up with Hornby, and the Ringfield type motors, everything was interchangeable. You could take off bits like brushes, commutators, everything on it you could strip down, and if something wore or broke, if something wore out, you could actually physically take that out of the component, go and get the spares and replace it and fix it. But these things, once they're burnt out or once they're knackered, there's not much you can do apart from, well, what I'm going to do personally, if I get the replacement, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lop off this flywheel worm gear on the end, and I have that as a spare because that's quite nice. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just this part of crap on the main business end of it is no good. And again, what annoys me is there's no way of interchanging the brushes in there unless she was really clever. You could get, but then it'll probably cost you about the same price, if not more, for the components, so you might as well just buy a new one of these. That's the way it goes nowadays. Like most things in life, everything's throw away these days, isn't it? Which really sort of, excuse my language, but pisses me off, because gone are the days when things could be fixed, and instead of throwing things away, you took your time to take it apart, give it a bit of TLC, and you could fix it. But nowadays it's a bit, if it doesn't work, chuck it in the bin, like these things. So unfortunately, as nice as they are, they're not very good in terms of once they wear out, you can't do nothing with it. Anyway, so I'm thinking about getting one of these. I think the one that I've seen on Peter Spares is definitely probably the closest match to it of what I've seen. I'm going to look up on Google that number. I don't know if that means anything, but according to Hornby, it's the X66 99. Like I said, I could be wrong, don't quote me, but anyway. So the plan is I'm probably going to cannibalise that nasty Airfix model I say nasty. This is a bloody Airfix model in here. What are they talking about? How dare they? Because that's all it is. It's as nice as that looks in there. That's just a thinking Airfix tooling piece of rubbish, and it is a piece of rubbish really. It's not that nice. They could have done better. Yeah, it's a nice looking loco, but in my opinion, I don't like being conned. And what makes me so angry is that Hornby could have done a lot better. But no, I mean, with the Hornby Railroad range, all they've done there is basically take all the old ex-Lima stuff and the Airfix stuff and just basically retool it. Some of it's all right, but with some of the locos that Hornby have got, they really are lovely. And this isn't a sort of a budget model. This cost me about £100 and something £100, I think. I bought this about 5 years ago from Hatton's. So for what you pay for, they could really do a bit better. Considering Bachmann, for a little bit more, you can get a really nice 4F. But this is okay. I mean, so probably what the plan is, I've got a day to myself tomorrow, so I might actually have a go at just stripping down that Airfix version that's in the colliery set. And I say Airfix, I always refer to it as the Airfix version, even though it's Airfix tooling again, sorry, but the tender mechanism was horrific. You'll see it on the previous videos I'll put in the description, but the old Airfix version, I know I'm sort of digressing here and rambling on into a bit of a tangent, but the old Airfix version of these had the motor in here. They're still knocking around, the old chonkers, on eBay. So if you see them and you want a project, go ahead and buy one, because they're sort of cheap as chips, they are. But unfortunately, all Hornby have done have taken out the Airfix style motor out of here. Obviously they've put metal wheels in here with contact, which has vastly improved it electrically wise, and put the motor in here, which is one of those, and obviously pickups on the all 6 wheels, which when it does work, it does work. But if I remember rightly, when I first got this loco, it wasn't doing an awful range speed wise, and I thought, okay, I've got it full whack, it shouldn't be going that slow. So it makes me think now, did this have a motor fault in it from the beginning? I don't know. We shall investigate. But anyway, I thought I'd keep you up to speed, and let you know what's going on. So what with Britannia this week, the real Britannia, and now with my 4F, I don't know. It's all happening. Anyway, gonna say goodnight and take care, and I'll see you definitely with the update. So stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe.